right, well, welcome back to the Merck Method, where we explore mental wellness, growth, and the human experience. I just want to thank everybody for coming and listening to this episode today. And if this is your first time listening, welcome. So, last episode, we talked about mental knockdown and just trying to do so many things and not paying attention to our health mentally and physically and just hitting that wall and the results of how that makes you feel. So, with that last episode and the things that I've been listening to, the last couple of days, I think that we're going to just talk about the importance of valuing yourself. And sounds easier said than done, but we get caught up in trying to please other people for reasons I don't even know. So we're trying to please people that we wouldn't take opinions from. And I'm trying to break out of that cycle. And I think a lot of people are, and we just don't know how to do it. And we're not really putting ourselves first. And it's not being selfish and being one sided. It's just you are just as important as everyone else. But it has to start with you. And really just trying to not lose yourself in the aspect of everybody else's lives. So for me, I'm always trying to help as many people as I can, but I'm not great at all at helping myself. And I hear it all the time. It's very difficult to find time for yourselves when you might be the only one around you doing so many things, right? But it is very, very necessary because, again, you're going to burn out or hit that wall mentally. And then realistically, how are you going to help everybody else? So, this is really just set around not trying to get caught up in other people's negativity and sitting in it and then absorbing it and then it really ruining other aspects of your life, and then it just is kind of like going down that rabbit hole. We really just don't want to do that because it's not good for anyone, and it's not fair to yourself. I really want to just start by saying you are valuable, okay? And not because of what you've done in the past, not because of how others see you, because frankly, we don't know how others really see us. It's really not our business how other people perceive us because that's just an opinion. But really, it's because of who you actually are. Somewhere along the way, we forgot that. And that's, I think, the biggest thing. We're feeding into all these other people's perspectives of us, but not really looking inward and really seeing our true selves and our true value. And what we start tying our worth to is our performances at work, whether we are noticed or get any accolades or don't get any accolades for what we're doing. And we know we're doing a good job, but it's just not being seen. Or maybe our relationships that we're in, or how much we do for other people. And we let those individuals or those jobs and those situations make withdrawals from us that we really never agreed to. And then before you know it, we're running on empty. We're trying to please all these people, but in the process, we're really losing ourselves and what our goals are. Because I know our goals aren't to just sit there and watch life go by, right? We want to live. We've got expectations that we put for ourselves, and we're losing that sight because we're giving the control to other people that don't deserve it because they don't have skin in the game. They don't care what we're doing. It's just another day. And we need to really focus on what's best for us moving forward. We really just need to start reclaiming our value because it's really about protecting our peace and really finally understanding that our worth is not up for negotiation. We're giving this control to too many people. And because the moment you recognize that value, I guarantee you everything in your life begins to shift. All that negative energy turns to positive energy, you setting your boundaries, and really just understanding a sense of self. One of the biggest thing is just trying to protect your peace. There's not going to be every single day where it's super positive and everybody's in a great mood because that's just not really how it works. But what does work is how you protect that peace. And I'm not talking about it turning into isolation, but just more of like intention, right? When you value yourself, you start setting boundaries and you begin to really realize that peace is not something you're really just stumbling on. It's something you're starting to create for yourself. Peace looks like, choosing silence over arguments, really, that are not going to lead to anywhere. It's better to take a step back and kind of look at both perspectives. Obviously, somebody's passionate about something, and maybe there's something going on with them that you might not understand, and maybe it's better to just kind of listen. No one wins a fight. It's better to be present and just listen to what they have to say. And I'm not saying if they're screaming bloody murder at you, then you just need to back out, right? Take a time out, maybe walk it off. Both of you need to walk it off, or whoever's involved. Just take yourself out of the equation. But eventually, there's going to have to be a conversation. And this conversation can value their opinion, but it also is making sure that it's valuing yours, right? You have to remember that you are part of this situation. And we can't always look at everything for the other person because once you run out of all of your giving, you won't have anything left. And you wouldn't tell those same people that you're trying to help to not value themselves. You're probably telling them the exact same thing that you're not doing for yourself, where you're putting other people first without you and allowing their ideas of you to deteriorate your goals and your thoughts of yourself and how important you actually are to the world and what your purpose brings to the table. And in all of this, it's finding your true self, but it's not about reinventing the wheel, right? It's about remembering who you've always been beneath all of these layers that you have. The people pleaser, all the fear that you have, all that overthinking, all that need for approval, that was all planted at some point in time. Your true self has always really been there. It's always there. It's just quietly waiting beneath all the noise of the day, just asking to be seen. And when it's not seen, then you start to get angry, and then you start to get frustrated, and then other emotions come out, and then conflict comes out. And really, what happens is these individuals are looking at you and going, oh, they're a problem. They're angry. They don't know how to talk. But really, you're just so passionate about having people see your value and see your worth. And sometimes they have blinders on, and it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. But when you start valuing yourself and protecting that peace, you begin to peel back those layers, right? And what you find underneath is something often softer, more peaceful, more in tune with who you are, and you're more authentic than you remember. It's that version of you that laughs freely. It's that version of you that isn't afraid to rest. The one that dreams without trying to apologize for everything that you're doing. But here's the hard truth of this whole thing. You can't find your true self in all the chaos. You have to be willing to disconnect from everything that distorts your reflection. I've had to do that the last couple of weeks. I've had to tap myself out of things that are distorting my values and how I look at myself. I'm allowing individuals to distort the way I think of myself and what I'm trying to become. And that is not a good thing. What this means is pulling back from people who make you doubt your worth and environments that make you forget your peace. You're sitting in a bad environment, take yourself out. Figure out a way. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but you can't sit in it because it is distorting your value. That clarity you need comes in the stillness, not the noise. This topic is very, very strong with me because a lot of times growing up, and even now as an adult, I tend to forget sometimes what my goals are and what my values are and what my worth is because I'm listening to outside noise too much. And then it gets too overwhelming to the point where I lose myself completely. And then because of this, and I know this, I get extremely frustrated and have to tap out. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't like that because now I'm not there to assist in helping them. But I can't help anybody on an empty cup, and neither can you. If you continue and continue and continue to allow individuals to basically control the way you look at things and to control the way that you look at yourself, you're going to be in the same boat if you're not already there. And that's not fair. That's not fair to anyone. One of the things that always stands out to me, and I usually tell myself, but now I'm telling all of you, is I feel like I'm more like a chameleon where I can adjust to any situation in a room, any individuals in a room to enough to keep the conversation going and sometimes help them in a way that they didn't know they needed help and I didn't know that they need help. But there's another side of that where when I continue to change and continue to change and continue to change, I'm losing myself in the process. And that's not good either because I don't know the version of me that these individuals actually do like or care for, if any. And that's how it was when I was younger. Where I was trying to fit in so many different groups where I didn't know what group really was for me and which one I was just trying to be in for that period of time. I love people. I love talking to people. I love helping people. I love hearing their stories, all aspects, and that's what I'm doing. And I've gotten way better at adjusting in a way where I'm helping them on an honest and linear grounded level. But when you're hearing all this negative things and sitting in it and allowing these individuals to kind of steer your car for you, I keep losing that piece of me that actually is normal. We got to stop that. And the one thing to do is take yourself out of the equation. If they're not going to listen, they're not going to continuously figure it out, then you can't keep putting yourself in that position because your cup is empty and now has no bottom. You'll know you start to value yourself when you no longer need their validation. You begin to find peace in your own company. Like a lot of people feel sorry for me sometimes when they know that I go and sit and have coffee by myself, or I'll go have lunch by myself and I'll sit there and I'm completely fine with sitting there by myself. Sometimes I don't really like to talk, ironically enough. I'm an introverted extrovert. I like being by myself, but my job requires me to talk to all these people because, again, I like to help everyone. So it's kind of a mixed bag. You need to stop performing for approval from other people and really start living for your own peace. You have to learn to be enough for yourself, which means you need to realize that your worth isn't measured by how many people clap for you. Man, I wish I knew that a long time ago. It's really just measured about how deeply you respect your own boundaries and the own truth about yourself and who you really truly are. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone who can't see it and continuously closes their eyes to it. You just need to live the way that you are. Start telling yourself things you need to hear from others. I am proud of me. Tell yourself that. Remember, you're your biggest listener. Continue to tell yourself how proud of you are for all the things that you've accomplished up to this point. Tell yourself you're enough because you are enough. Your value matters. So tell yourself that. Remind yourself that you do deserve this peace that we're talking about. You don't deserve to be under duress and under stress, and then on top of it, people not seeing you for who you are and your worth. Take yourself out of that equation. I know these affirmations might sound a little corny or maybe not amount to much, but it's not true. You need to continue to tell yourself these words because they're not just words. They're reminders to your soul of who you are and that you're coming home to yourself. When you start valuing yourself, you stop reacting to everything that you used to get triggered by. I know there's a lot of things that can do that, especially when you're putting yourself out there and being vulnerable and trying to help other people or whatever you may be doing, and it's not being reciprocated back. And it's not that you don't care, but it's because you've learned that not every situation deserves that energy that's taking its toll on you each and every time that you give it. That peace gives you perspective. It helps you respond instead of react. That's the biggest thing. You have control of how you react to things, not them, you. It allows you to choose that clarity over the chaos that's probably going to happen if you react in a negative way. You start realizing that everything requires your presence, but not everyone deserves your access. That piece also teaches you emotional discipline. This makes you stronger, makes you more calm, and it actually does help with your confidence. And that's when you begin to see how powerful you truly are. Not because you control others, that's not the outlook we're looking for, but because you control yourself. That's the kind of quiet strength that can change your entire life moving forward. But we have to start somewhere. You are not replaceable. You are not too much. You are valuable right now as you are. I wouldn't want you to be somebody that you're not. Okay? Your peace and your calm is precious. Your time is sacred. Your true self is waiting for you to stop apologizing for existing. Stop apologizing to other people that you would not take advice from. Why are we doing this? It's okay to outgrow things that don't align with the rest of our goals. It's okay to choose peace over popularity. It's okay to love yourself enough to walk away. Don't put yourself in these situations that's just draining your value, your peace, and your time. It's not worth it. You can't get time back. When you finally start valuing yourself, you stop begging for acceptance. You start attracting alignment. You will start to see the shift when you start to choose you. Stop chasing what's not meant for you and start living in a peace that can't be shaken. Live your life. Stop allowing people that don't have skin in the game to try to control what you're doing. Maybe this season of your life isn't about chasing anything. Maybe it's just coming back to yourself, to the version of you that's been waiting quietly under all that pressure, all that pain from people and things and everything else, and the pretending to be somebody else. The one who's tired of performing, the one who's ready to just be. Start valuing yourself. You begin to see life differently because of this. You stop begging people to see your worth and start standing in it. Stand up for yourself. You realize that peace doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means you've stopped letting everything disturb you. And finding your true self, that's the reward of every boundary you set, every silence you sit in, every time you tap out, every time you walk away from conflict. Start understanding that peace is not a destination, it's a decision that you make and no one else. If you're listening again to this right now, feeling lost, exhausted, disconnected, I want you to breathe. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply unfolding to the version of you that was always there. That person is already inside of you, just waiting for space to breathe. Choose peace for yourself. Choose value. Choose you. Again, I want to just thank everybody for coming and listening to this podcast episode today. I hope that it really hit on some things for you and that it resonates with you. And I hope that, we continue to, find ourselves moving forward, find that true self and, allowing yourself to grow into your purpose and why you're really here, because you all are here for a reason. Your value does matter. Your purpose does matter, right? You're going to make a difference for somebody every day on some kind of level. So you are needed, but we also need to find that value. So as I leave you always, I leave you with this. Stay grounded, stay kind to yourself, and remember, strength begins with honesty. Until next time.